Hey guys, so we're out here working in the backyard. We got a bed going on here that we terraced. We basically did the terracing because we have no grass over here and it's completely filled with mud. So we terraced this out. We're going to make this a bed up here to prevent some of the water flowing to go in there. And then we're going to reseed this area and probably make a pathway so we have this spot contained and minimal water running into the grass area here, so we don't have a muddy mess over here. But one thing I did want to talk about was fall planting. A lot of people are surprised to learn that fall is a pretty close second to spring when it comes to planting. Although it's true, it's more so for shrubs and perennials. Take for instance these hydrangeas I have back here. These are Invincibelle Limettas. It's an arborescent smooth hydrangea, zone 3 to 8 I believe, and it grows about 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. Now that's an awesome hydrangea. It has a nice white bloom. It turns into a jade green in the fall, and we're absolutely in love with these hydrangeas. Now the thing is, we want to see these beautiful blooms come springtime. The best way to do that is to get this guy in the ground. Now, although it's a great time to plant, before you go out and start buying a bunch of plants and try to put in the landscape and stuff like that, what we want to talk about is some of the main things you want to remember when planting in fall. So the first thing to mention is 6 weeks. That is 6 weeks from the time your ground freezes. That gives your plant plenty of time to establish itself and grow a nice root system. Now, if you don't know when your ground actually freezes, you can get with your local nursery and find out if they know when that exactly happens. If not, and you're unsure, you can use mid-November, about a good deadline to stop putting stuff into the ground. We're about 6 weeks out here, so let's go ahead and get these hydrangeas into the ground, and then we'll continue with the rest of the things we have to say about planting in fall. Second thing to mention when you're planting in fall is fertilizing. You don't want to fertilize any perennials or shrubs during the fall time. What we used was Espoma Biotone, which is a biotone starter that helps those roots establish themselves and grow a little bit quicker than they normally would without fertilizing. So although fall can be quite cool and rainy, one thing you don't want to do is ignore those new plantings. You want to water them all the way up until the ground freezes to provide any water and nutrients that those roots need to continue to develop until the winter months come around. Alright guys, so one of the last things you want to remember is to put a layer of mulch down on the ground. That's going to protect your root ball from completely freezing over during the winter months. It's also going to provide a barrier of moisture to keep those roots fed with water during those winter months. When you get those cold, dry, windy days during winter, it completely dries everything out, and you want to keep that as moist as possible to continue to have a successful plant come springtime. So the very last thing is, when you plant something in fall, is not to expect much from it. That's actually a good thing. Any new growth that's too soft to survive during the winter months is probably not going to make it. The whole point of planting in fall is to give your plant the best start at growing those roots and establishing a nice root ball system, so that way come springtime you have your plant flourishing the way it's supposed to and putting out that big beautiful growth that you want it to show during the spring months. A few other things I do want to talk about is things to avoid. Some of the things you do want to avoid is planting evergreens too late in fall or coming too close to winter. Things that normally keep foliage throughout the winter months are probably going to get some damage. You want to give those a couple of more months rather than weeks to establish themselves and continue to put on that root growth and be able to flourish during the winter months. For instance, arborvitaes, hollies, things of that nature. A few other things you want to do as gardeners, we like to push the zones a little bit. One thing you don't want to do is push the zones as far as you don't want to plant something that'll do well in a zone 9 in a zone 7 and expect that to survive during the winter months, because it's probably not going to happen. Another thing also as well is, when you do plant in fall, if you have things that normally show some type of leaf burnt or bud burnt during the spring and you have to prune that stuff, it's best to leave that to planting during the spring months as well. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for this video. I hope you learned something. I hope I was able to answer many questions that come across of why it's good to plant in fall. I also want to thank Proven Winners for sending us these Invincibelle Limettas. We're absolutely going to enjoy them, absolutely going to love them come springtime. As you all guys know, we love hydrangeas, and this is one of the ones that we're absolutely going to enjoy back here. We have a lot of projects going on. I hope you guys stick around, and we'll see you guys in the next video.